Welcome to the City. I'm Anthony Wilson, the Public Information Officer for the City of San Angelo. And joining us today is Hector Guzman, the maestro, the conductor of the San Angelo Symphony. Maestro, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
So we're sitting here in the Murphy Performance Hall, which will soon be making its grand re-debut, and you were one of the first people to get an inside glimpse of this place. What are your thoughts?
This is amazing, amazing. It's awe-inspiring because I can see the amazing detailed work that they've done in everything, the lights, the seats, the lights hanging from the ceiling, the shutters, the stage. I'm ready to go.
Of course, this place was built in 1928, but and it still has sort of that charm, but it feels brand new as well.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that's one of the attractive things about the theater that I see, that they kept that atmosphere of long ago, but the modern commodities, little things here that make it very, very comfortable, and the air conditioning especially, this is just great. So beautiful.
So tell us how much you're looking forward to playing music, playing beautiful music, and performing now in this grand hall.
Well, I'm looking forward to, but also the musicians of the orchestra. They've been anticipating this for so long, for almost 6 years. And, you know, as we were talking earlier, it inspires the musician. Not only the audience, you know, feels that they're at a beautiful place to make music, but the musicians now are looking forward so much, and I think that motivates an artist, and I think that that's what will make it very special.
And you said it even helps you with your recruiting efforts, because most of your musicians are not from San Angelo, so you get them from hither and yon, and so this is a selling point to get the best of the best here to perform with the San Angelo Symphony.
Absolutely. It's not only a selling point to people, not only in San Angelo but around the area, but also for a musician, because they see what they're going to perform in, and they, as I told you, they started calling and said, Hector, please, I want to play with you. So it does help recruiting wonderful musicians, yes.
So, as you mentioned, you've been performing for the last 6 years in the McNeese Convention Center. For a concert goer, how do you think being in this venue is going to enhance the experience of attending and listening to the San Angelo Symphony?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank everybody that worked at the Convention Center. They were very good to us, and they understood the circumstances. And I think, just to your point, I think the acoustics will be number one. I anticipate, we haven't played a note here, but I can tell already that the acoustics will have a lot to do with it. And that's one of the reasons I think that it will make it even more attractive to our audience. Not only that, but the aesthetics. You know, you go to a convention center with chairs, and what it is a convention center, but then you go into a concert hall, and with the beautiful seats and the atmosphere, the beautiful things that they've done to the building, and it makes a difference.
And you mentioned to me that actually up here in the balcony where we're sitting, you might even experience a little bit of a fuller, richer sound up here than you would be necessarily on the front row.
Well, it has been my experience before that balconies are unusually good places to hear a symphony orchestra, and it's beautiful. They've done a beautiful job with this, and I think that if you don't get a seat in the front, you know, that you're closer to the artist and the orchestra, this will be a terrific place to be. So there's really not a bad seat in the house.
As I mentioned, this place was built in 1928. How were the acoustics prior to the renovation when you performed here?
Well, they were good, but one of the things that we had to work with was a makeshift acoustical shell. That is, was not necessarily done for that purpose. It just helped to cover the back.
And what that does, it helps to project the sound out into the audience.
Exactly. And so if you do a concert like with no shell, the sound dissipates. And so what an acoustical shell does is that it helps project the sound from the orchestra to an audience in a more evenly matched sound. And so that's what makes and will make this even more special. So they were good. I think that they will be a lot better.
You touched on this a little bit earlier, but I found this fascinating as we were chatting before this, that your musicians, they want to play in a hall like this because it adds to their artistic experience.
Well, yeah, because if you put yourself in the shoes of a musician, an artist, a singer, when you actually performing in a beautiful place, you feel like, you know, your creative juices start to really go to the top, and yeah, it's very attractive, and it's exciting. It's exciting to play in a place like this.
Of course, your season opening concert will be in October. Tell us about the upcoming season for the San Angelo Symphony.
We have a lot of very special events, and we were assured that we would be in the hall, and that's why our season is called Coming Home. And because of that, we really we went after very unique artists to grace us with their presence in our first season coming back. Stephanie Chase will be our violin soloist on our first concert, our opening concert. She will be playing the gorgeous Tchaikovsky violin concerto. The orchestra will do, you know, very big pieces, but the biggest of them all will be the last one, The Pines of Rome. And that piece is by Respighi, an Italian composer, but that piece calls for extra brass. And what I'm going to do, Anthony, I'm going to put him in specific places around the hall so that the audience will hear the very last movement, sort of like a stereotype, stereo sound feeling, and the brass answering back and forward, and it's going to be it's a great piece for an opening of a season. We closed the season in April at the Janelle with Dancing with the Movies, and then in between we sandwiched a lot of interesting things. For example, the David Phillips, who just retired from Central High School, he will be conducting the November concert with the strings of the symphony, and also a side-by-side concert theme, which means that the best string players from high schools will be joining the orchestra. They'll make it bigger. And also Michael Schneider, along with...
who's a hometown boy.
Oh, yeah, and a very fine pianist. We're very proud of him. He'll be performing as a soloist, and some of our own symphony players will be soloists. Christmas will be special in this place. Oh, I just cannot wait to see all the decorations. We'll have Ricardo Ceballos, which is a baritone, and a very interesting piece, The Candy Bomber Story. I think your audience will be very inspired by that, and that will be very special. Rick Mantooth will be a narrator there.
So after your Christmas show, then what do you have coming in the new year?
Well, in February, we have a very interesting concert. It's called Gypsy Jazz. We have two outstanding guitarists with the symphony as background to them. But then we have Bolero by Ravel in the first half, so it will be sort of like a crossover concert, and I think our audience will love that. And then in March, we continue with a new concept. The first half will feature Beethoven and one of the Van Cliburn medalists, David Shue, performing Beethoven Piano Concerto No. 4. But then on the second half, we will pay tribute to television and video games music. So another kind of crossover concept. And we do that because music, it's just not, it needs to be sort of like all-encompassing. And so we have great music. That will always be our goal, to have great music. But then we add a touch of this and a touch of that, more sort of like contemporary or that you're familiar with, and but again with the same quality. So that wraps up the whole season. And as I said, it closes with Dancing with the Movies, and that it's a beautiful concept. It's some of the coaches and people who actually perform at this beautiful show, Dancing with the Stars, and they come and they perform. It's a multimedia type thing. They perform with the orchestra, with some scenes of great movies like Singing in the Rain and so on. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So from beginning to end, it's an outstanding season.
Now this may surprise a lot of people, but you haven't played a note yet of the 2017-2018 season.
Right.
And you are about to start working on the planning of the 2018-2019 season. I guess that just goes to show how involved it is in planning a whole season's worth of concerts.
Yes, because we want to have the best artists, the best guest artists, and some of them book a year, sometimes 2 years in advance. So yes, we're about to start our 17-18 season, but in the next 2 months we need to pretty much have everything in place for the 18-19 season, and that is always a little bit of a hassle, but it's part of it, and it's really quite exciting.
And of course, you know, my wife Christine and I, we love the San Angelo Symphony.
Yes, yes.
And I don't know that people realize this, but there are people from all walks of life who attend your concerts, and orchestral music truly is music for everybody.
Yeah, I'm glad you touched on that, especially symphonic music. You know, symphony music from way, way back was never for just a particular group of people. It was for everybody. In fact, in the era of Mozart and Beethoven, everybody attended the concerts, and the concerts used to last from 10 o'clock in the morning till about 9 o'clock at night. It was the whole day. People would actually eat inside the halls because it was for the people. And so music, it has a little bit of everything for everybody. And that's what this orchestra has. If you like classical music, man, you're going to have not just classical music, but the best classical music. If you like pop's music, well, we'll have that too. Christmas music, oh man, it's just gorgeous music. If you like dancing, well, you'll see that. And if you like gypsy guitars, you'll have that. If you like Beethoven, well, you'll have that too. So yeah, we try to appeal to people of all ages and all walks of life. And another misconception that it's not expensive, Anthony.
Oh no, it's very affordable.
I mean, you go to a movie, and after you add the drink and the popcorn, my goodness, it's way more expensive than a ticket to the symphony. So on all sides, I think that music, especially symphonic music, should appeal to everybody.
Of course, it's your passion, it's your life. What do you love about symphonic music?
Well, you're right. It's been my passion since I was 5 years old. I just like the experience. I like to, it's what you actually are able to produce and affect other people. When you see their smiles in their faces, or something that they remember from way back, and sometimes you make them cry, sometimes you make them laugh. That's the beauty about music, that it touches the soul, and that's what I love about it.
And how is the experience of enjoying that music enhanced by seeing it performed live as opposed to listening to a recording of it?
Well, I always say that I am really one of the most fortunate human beings on earth, because I'm the conductor, I'm in front of an orchestra, not a stereo system, and then I do a downbeat, with my baton, and I am the first one that receives that wave of sound, live sound, and whoa, goes through your body, and it's something very unique, and it's an experience that I really cherish.
You mentioned about tickets, they're very affordable. If people are interested in getting tickets for the upcoming season, what are some ways they can go about doing that?
Oh, well, they can call the office, 658-5877. That's the number. And one of the easiest ways is to just do it online. You can get the tickets online at, very easy too, sanangelosymphony.org. Or you can come to the office, which is right here at City Auditorium, just downstairs. And several outlets in San Angelo. It's very easy to get tickets. If you wait until the last minute, you can get in, but I'm anticipating pretty close to a sellout because it's going to be like, coming home.
I can't wait, Maestro.
Yeah, I can't wait either.
We hope you'll join us for the next episode of The City.